right. Well, as far as this segment goes, I already said at the beginning of this, and I'll reiterate, I don't want to get too deep into what's going to happen at WrestleMania. I don't mind talking about what's happened so far as the build goes, but I said it weeks ago. I'll say it again here. I have a feeling that when we get to this fucking round table, we are all going to have some differing fucking opinions about this build to this fucking WrestleMania. I swear to God. I swear to it. Because a lot of this build has been either hit or miss or confusing and too obvious. It's like all over the fucking map. There's a lot of moving parts, but at the same time, there's a lot of parts that are stationary when they shouldn't be, and it's weird. Now, somebody brought this to my attention. I wish I could say that I came up with this on my own, but I didn't. A good buddy of mine, I was talking to him. I went to the gym, right? I got my wrestling on. You know, I'm trying to stay with the wrestling stuff, take my bumps, pay my dues, do what I got to do. But you get some downtime, you start talking. And I met a guy. I'd never met him before. This is the first time training with him. His name is Damien. He's a good dude. And I just met him for the first time. And we're talking wrestling. Obviously, you're at a gym. You're going to talk wrestling. And he went to WrestleMania last year to Philly. He lives here in the city, but he lives in the Bronx. This training facility that we're at was in Queens. But he drove to Philly. He went to WrestleMania, did the hotel gimmick, and then drove back. But he went to both nights of 40 last year. He went to night 1 and he went to night 2. And he was just saying, like, how for some reason to him, and I think we kind of agreed with it too at the time, that like that build to 40 felt magical. Like there was something awesome about that fucking build to WrestleMania. And then the way that WrestleMania executed, the way that, especially that last match, where it was like 10 minutes of just ridiculous awesomeness at the end of that match. Where it's like, here comes Jimmy, but then he's interrupted by Jay. And then here comes Solo, but he's interrupted by Cena. And then here comes Rock, but he's cut off by The Undertaker. And then here comes Roman, but here comes Shield Rollins. And then Roman takes his eye off the ball. It was just all magically done.
A shit ton of payouts.
Yeah, just
with
paid
great build-ups.
Paid everything off. And we were talking about that, and he told me, he goes, you know what it felt like? Avengers Endgame. It was a build up with a big crescendo, a beautiful moment, story fulfilled, and then it was over. And he goes, and the reason why I feel like that's Endgame is because this WrestleMania feels like Phase 4. It's okay, that story is over. Let us rebuild. Let us tell some other stories and hopefully begin the path towards another big payout. So he was describing this WrestleMania to him, in his opinion. He goes, this is almost like a burner mania. Where this is like, we did so good last year with the established talent that maybe this year we could just throw out some of the more underutilized stars and see where we wind up with that.
You had me until that last point. Now I completely disagree.
Okay, well, what's the disagreement on that?
So I agree with everything with the Avengers stuff and all that, 100%. Right. I disagree with the throwaway.
Okay,
and my reason here is I don't think they're throwing anything away. They still have their big stars. If anything, they've developed people to be in a position that they weren't in a year ago. I think the problem is that they caught lightning in a bottle. And the problem with performing after lightning in a bottle, you just have an empty bottle. Right. You're still trying to catch it. Like we've even mentioned that it feels like they're trying to grab it again. Like you can just see the attempt to it, but that happened organically. That was not supposed to happen. It happened, and not only did it happen, but it has progressed throughout this whole year where I'm surprised that Cody held on to the belt as long as he did.
Right.
But to that point, I don't say any of this is bad. If I were to take 40 out of the picture
Right.
and play this run where 40 was, this is good. Like, this is really good. This is some of the best product that they've had. But when you're doing that after what happened, it feels like it's hard to live up to that expectation.
Yeah.
So I agree with the Avenger 1000%. I disagree with Throwaway. If anything, I think Hunter has gone the other direction and has done a good job at not trying to dwell on what, not dwell, but like uh keep like, you do something cool. You make a joke in the room and you keep kind of hinting at that joke. Like, I remember that joke I did that the whole room laughed. You know what I mean? Like, he wasn't doing that. It happened. We all nutted simultaneously.
Yes.
And then, like, it moved on to the next. It really did feel like it moved to the next season. And now we're here. And this season is good. But damn, last season was fucking great. So I think we're kind of having that like recoil. But I will say within that, they are not phoning it in. I think they're delivering a great product. It's just Avengers.
Yeah. It's
Like
just
fuck
not
whatever
what
this
it
Doomsday
was.
is, bro. I'll never get that Avengers feeling again. It'll
Yeah.
never happen. It's never coming back.
So one of the more controversial matches leading up to WrestleMania happens to be the triple threat match between Seth Rollins, CM Punk, and Roman Reigns. At first, the controversy was just the match, period. The fact that it even exists
Yeah,
has had,
I didn't want a three-way.
yeah. But now that we know that it will be the main event of night one, that has turned up the heat a little bit on the controversy of this match. Now, you just said that you didn't want a three-way. What was the singles match that you wanted?
There was a plethora of things we could have gotten. I will say, I want Punk to have the main event. So if this is how I have to get it, and it's yeah, if this is how I have to get it, then that's perfectly fine. I'm okay with that. Um, I am turning. It's just man, it's just something about. I don't know if this is going to be a constant reoccurrence, and maybe this is something about um this Seth that I didn't know about before. But man, Road to WrestleMania, Seth Rollins is fucking peak, dude. He's just at his best when he's on the road to WrestleMania. I don't know if it's just his persona or whatever it is, but when it comes to like this type of shit, like what'd you call it, Talkamania?
Yeah.
If you put the right people around him, and I hate to say that because I feel like it takes away from what I feel like his art is, he knows how to perform with himself, and then if the people around him react, it's even better.
Right.
And I feel like Punk and Roman obviously are those two people that do it. But I love that all three of them in the ring right there, where it was like everyone was having their own moment at the same fucking time, and they were also all telling each other "fuck you" at the same time. Like, not they were all telling pretty much each other like "fuck all you," like I don't like you guys. Punk's having a sincere, huge fucking moment in the ring. Seth gets up, was like, "Fuck you, you don't deserve it," and of course. OTC's over just laughing. This is comical to him. Like, you
Yeah,
guys
word.
you're all fucking idiots. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it just matched so good, and to see Seth just like being in the right position, screaming. It delayed a little bit when he threw the chair. I wish they kind of reacted a little bit because it did look a little weird when Punk didn't respond right away. But it's the chemistry they're building on, whatever. But it's just so good to see Seth in like this time of year because he's been fucking delivering, in my opinion. He's been delivering the past fucking 2 years that I've been watching. And so now I'm bought into it. Like, I'm ready for it now. Punk gets his main event. Seth is doing Seth's shit. And we get Roman again at Mania. So,
So my wife sometimes realizes when we're in a car for a long period of time, I tend to get quiet. And she knows that wrestling is a trigger. Once she starts talking wrestling to me, I get going, right? So she had a genuine question. She saw the segment that I sent you, the one they just did with the contract signing, and she's looking at me and she goes, "I don't get it. I don't get how these three are together." And I said, "You know what's funny? You're not the only person who's a little off about what's happening here with the three-way." And I said, "But here's the beauty of it." And I'm not going to explain it now because I want this to be on the clip for the podcast when we do the roundtable. So I don't want to say it now and then have to repeat it later. But
Yep.
I will say there's two versions and they both make sense. There's the long-term version. I can connect these three as far back as 2011 all the way to now. Or, like you said earlier, with the Marvel stuff, if you don't want to do the homework, that's fine. I can give you why these three are together starting from just this past November.
Yeah. When Punk got involved.
When Punk got involved with the War Games.
Yeah. That's where if you're not
really
someone
starts.
that's following the whole thing.
Yeah, if you don't want to, yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I could give you the seeds from the beginning, but if you just want to focus on the now, I could give it to you now too. There's two different. There's an elongated and a short version. I can give you. And I want to give people both on the round table when we talk about it because I think it'll be a good conversational piece. But the question is what I want to talk about now because that's a question that's been asked a few times for some of these matches, and it's what irks me. It's irksome to me because she said the word that triggers me. Actually, it's two words that trigger me when she says this, and I've heard other people say it, and it's no sense. This makes no sense, right? I've heard that one before. Now, I'm not going to sit here and pretend to live in a world where there aren't things that are illogical and don't make sense, okay? There is wrestling booking out there that obviously makes no sense. It's on TV every Wednesday night. There's obviously situations where things don't make sense.
There's a market for it.
Yeah, there's definitely a market for it. It's there. If you want to watch illogical shit, they got about 3 shows a week that'll give it to you, right? But there's a difference, and I want people to understand this before we get to the roundtable, especially if you listen to the show consistently. There's a difference between it doesn't make sense and that's not what I would have done. And I feel like people sometimes put those two fucking worlds together. It doesn't make sense. No, it makes sense. You just don't like it, which is fine. You don't have to like it. Even if it made sense, if it doesn't tickle your fancy or get your attention or hook you in any way, that is perfectly fine. You don't have to like everything everybody does. I just took a shot at AEW, but that's a joke. There are some things they do that I enjoy. I dislike most of it, but I do enjoy. There's stuff at WWE that I enjoy, but I also dislike. It doesn't have to be all-encompassing. You don't have to go 100 miles in either direction. But let's not conflate the two. The triple threat match makes sense. They have purposely gone out of their way to highlight how it does. If you're still sitting here telling me that it doesn't make sense to you, what I'm hearing is that you don't like it, and that's not what you would have done if you were the booker. And that's
it's the one that's gotten the most development.
Yes, and we can use that exact because I've heard that sentence also for Jey Uso and Gunther, and I know why I heard it for that because
wait, you heard what? Don't make sense.
That the matchup doesn't make sense, and I understand why people
Royal
feel that
Rumble.
way.
What does it need to make sense?
Well, here's the part that I have been told. Why? Here's why it doesn't make sense. The weekend before the Rumble, Jey Uso competed against Gunther for the world title.
Sure.
And mind you, that was the second time that they've competed against each other for that world title. He has lost both times. Then
Sure.
the very next week, he wins the Royal Rumble, which that alone has people saying that makes no sense. Why would he win the Rumble, right? There's a lot of people out there that are like, this doesn't make any sense. This is a waste of a Rumble. Why would you give it to him? Then after he wins the Rumble and all of
That is
this,
fucking crazy.
yeah,
Those that okay.
yeah.
Go
Let
ahead.
me
Go.
let
Go.
me
Go.
finish
Go.
the point, right? So that alone lost people when he won the Rumble. Then to win the Rumble and immediately challenge the guy he just fucking lost to the other day. People were like, but why would he even want to go down that fucking road? Why would he just fought the fucking guy and couldn't beat him? Why wouldn't he try his luck the other way? Or why wouldn't he do this? Or why wouldn't he do that? And then eventually, whatever reason they come up with, all stems back to the fact that he won the Rumble, which to them doesn't make sense in the fucking first place. He's not good in the ring. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's just a catchphrase. He's overrated. This is the stuff that's being told. This was the most over guy in the fucking century, over the last century, like a week or so before the Rumble. He wins the Rumble, and instantly, it's the negativity all around. Now I'm glad it's a minority. It's a vocal minority, but I'm glad it's a small group. But
I think both things exist at the same time. I just think two groups of people are loud and quiet at opposite times, if that makes sense. Like those people still existed when 70,000 people are all waving their arms at the same time in one building. But when it's like they don't need to post when he wins the Rumble. I mean, I'm sure they did, but the entertaining shit is to call him trash. So that's what's bubbling to the surface. But I think both groups of people exist. I don't think the number shifted. I don't think there were Jey Uso fans who, that when he won the Rumble, said, "Oh, this doesn't make sense." Do you understand what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
they both existed at the same time. It's just one's being a little bit more vocal. So when I sit here and go, I don't fucking understand it, to me, my brain rationalizes that they just don't like Jey Uso. And listen, you're talking to a former Usos hater. You know, like I
yes,
can't fucking stand the guys. But to tell me that he can't wrestle a match, this my biggest critique for the Usos is that all they did was super kicks.
yes.
I fucking hated them because all they had hundreds of super kicks. That's all they did. They throw you off the rope, they super kick. You push them down, they get up, they super kick. That's all they did. Jey Uso can wrestle his fucking ass off now. Now he does do super kicks still,
Right.
but way less than before. And he's actually telling stories and shit in his match. He has gone through training with Roman and has come out the other end soon to be champion.
Mm-hmm.
To me, I don't think there's anybody else in the fucking back right now that deserves, for however long it is, even if he does eventually drop it back to Gunther, I don't even fucking care. There's no, this dude shouldn't even be sniffing this if you asked me 5 years ago. The fact that he has worked his way here is absolutely insane. And I think for those who say they don't understand why he's here, I would argue this is a story, or the way Jay is kind of like getting to this point is very old school way of doing it, right? So to say he just literally lost to him, why the fuck would he choose him again? You and I would say, why the fuck wouldn't you choose
Yeah,
him
exactly.
again?
That makes the most sense to me. The other champion is my friend. I want to beat this guy.
I can. You keep bitching me, but I'm telling you, I know I can fucking do it. I'm pushing all my chips in, and I'm gonna cash it on the guy who keeps fucking beating me. Because god damn it, I'm gonna fucking prove myself and everyone else wrong. I don't think those people who are saying what they're saying understand that logic. You know what I mean? They got that quit in them. They got that give up in them. You know what I mean?
No, anybody who says that is lathered in bitch. That's what it is.
Yeah, I'm gonna beat. I don't care if I never win another match. I'm gonna fucking beat this guy.
I'm gonna beat this guy. Yeah, exactly.
Yes, and that goes like that type of story used to be the types of stories told in old wrestling.
Yeah.
You go, you triumph. Like that's what made it go over. That you worked so hard, beaten down to the ground, but you rose to the top and won the chance. Like this is the story we're getting with Jay, and I just think it's like foreign to some people, and that's why it just seems really weird. That's my take on it.
Well, there's another reason why I've been calling this build Talkamania, because up until, and we're going to put a pin in the Jay Gunther thing, we'll come back. But
Yep.
I'm looking at the matches here, and all of the matches that are on this card so far, I have an official match list in front of me. The majority of these matches have all really been put together through promo work. AJ Styles and Logan Paul have been put together through promos. The Triple Threat Women's match is being put together through promo. Gunther and Jay, up until this past Monday, have all been promo. Cena and Cody, up until yesterday, hadn't touched. It's all been promo. The triple threat match we just talked about, Rollins, Punk, and Reigns, has been all promo. There's a lot of talking to set these matches up. There has not been a lot of action to set these matches up. Now, someone out there is going to go, are you kidding me? Io and Rhea just had the match. We had a match. Bianca won the Elimination Chamber. We've had matches. Right. But if you think about it, in all honesty, and if you're watching every week, it kind of feels like we've had just enough action for the promo package.
Mm-hmm.
Just a little something to supplement the words for the promo package. It's almost like they're trying really hard to make sure nobody gets hurt before fucking Mania. We're doing
As you should.
bare fucking minimum with the stars. All of these Raws have been Dakota Kai versus Lyra Valkyrie.
It's should be
Chad
yes.
Gable versus some Dragon Lee.
Yes.
Like
yes.
none of the stars are really getting their fucking hands dirty right now. It's all Penta and Braun Breaker against Finn Balor and Dominic. None of these people are moving the needle for Mania, but they're all taking the bumps right now and they're getting through it all. And
yes.
So, right, but
genius.
It's genius from a business sense, but is it entertaining? Is it part of the reason why we're not really feeling this build? Because Cena's turned heel, as an example. Cena's turned heel. But with the exception of the actual turn, what has he done to be a heel? We know what he has said to be a heel, but he hasn't done anything very heelish. Now, there's still time. It's April 1st. We still have... 1, 2. We got about 2 more weeks, about 2 weekends from now before we get to the show. And Cody struck first, so that's not to say that John won't get his lick back at some point.
Yeah, well, that moment right there solidified. He's taking it. He's gonna get the record.
With the fact that Cody put hands on him first.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
We might have to.
Yep. And I'm gonna answer your question to he doesn't have to do much because him going heel in the first place shocked the whole world. The whole world was shaken up by that. Children were crying over that shit. So now he keeps himself relevant, have a little back and forth, get hands put on him, and now he wins it at the end. That alone, heel Cena winning it is a shock. And all he has to do is come back next Monday and talk about more how they don't deserve him as a champion. He did it for himself, stuff like that, to really maximize his heat. And now they can just finish it however they want to finish it after that. I don't think he needs to do that for this. So remember last time they were going all in on the Cody thing. It was like Cody thing constantly over and over and over and over and over and over, right? But there was one championship that fell to the wayside. And it was the women's championship match, remember?
Yes.
Where it was like they didn't push Bayley at all. She wasn't even at that conference. They just shat on her completely. She was thrown away.
Wasn't that Bayley and Io? I think it was.
Yes.
Right.
I feel like this is a lesson learned from that because out of the 3, I think Cena and Cody don't need that much development at all. But out of 3 of them. So the people that really should be getting the TV time right now is Roman, Seth, Punk, and Jay and Gunther. Jay and Gunther needing the most to push this. Not really, but like if you were to pick out of three, I think they would need it the most. A close second would be Seth, Punk, and Roman. And then, so we only have a finite amount of TV time. Who's going to develop slower? I think Cena and Cody is that group, because just knowing Cena as a heel right now is more than enough to sell the match. He could not show up for the rest until just show up on fucking Mania, and I think he'd have the same amount of heat, if not more, because he'd be like, "Yeah, fuck you guys, I don't want to give you anything. I'll be there at Mania." I think he could like just be done until Mania, and that shit will still go way the fuck over. So I think they're doing it right this time, and one of the belts aren't really getting shit on too hard.
Not too hard. That's a tough place to be in. Yeah, we're not gonna shit on it too hard.
Because if you think about it, the biggest match out of these three, and they're all huge matches. So I don't mean big as in like it's monumental over all three of them. I think they're all really high profile matches. But I feel like the biggest one out of all three is Roman, Seth, and Punk. Whether you're confused about it or not, I feel like this match is like, and it's not even a title match. It's just three guys wanting to beat the shit out of each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think we're just in a really good place with this stuff right now. So, I mean, we'll see what happens. But yeah, Cena and Cody don't need that much. I don't really think they do.
No. And up until I'll make the joke again at the round table, but as regards to the Jey Uso Gunther program, I find it hilarious that between Jey Uso and Gunther, the MVP of this feud so far has been Jimmy Uso. Because he is just getting his fucking ass kicked up and down. He bled a gusher on fucking Monday to get this fucking feud over. Jimmy's out here sacrificing. So I'm like, God damn.